If you've been sitting at a desk all day, your body is going to love these exercises. It's all about opening up across the chest, stretching the back and the neck, and just getting lots of movement back into the upper body. Because I know from personal experience how sitting on a computer all day, your shoulders just seem to get higher and higher and higher, and then you get these I get these awful tension headaches. So this is what I do to help unwind and open up again after a long day on the computer. So we're going to start off in a seated position. Feel free to sit however is comfortable for you. You can sit with your legs crossed in a basket, or you can come up into kneeling, whatever is comfortable for you. And we're just going to start with a little bit of a posture check. So we want to have our hips nice and level. They're not twisting or lifting one way. And we're going to stack our ribs over our hip bones. So we're not flaring our ribs up or sticking your chest out. We're creating this nice straight line, kind of tucking the ribs down towards the hip bones to create this nice neutral position. We're going to bring our shoulders up, back, and down away from our ears. And we're just going to imagine there's a piece of string on the top of our head, pulling our heads up. So we're thinking about lifting our whole body up and creating length through our spine and through our backs. And we're just going to take a big deep breath in through our nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. On this next breath out, I want you to think about engaging your core. So imagine squeezing these muscles together as though you're trying to put on a pair of jeans that are a wee bit too small, or you're trying to fasten up a corset, and you're knitting your hip bones in and together. And you should actually be able to feel it a little bit under your hands if you were to place them here. So breathing in, exhale, squeeze those muscles together. Really nice. On this next breath out, we're going to gently drop our ear down to our shoulder. Breathe in to return. Exhale to the other side. Inhale up. Exhale down. Really think about your rib cage here. We're not letting it start to lift or flare as we're moving from side to side. You might feel a few cricks and clicks and cracks. I certainly am. And then release. Keeping our hands facing forward down towards the mat, we're now just going to turn our head to look over one shoulder and back to the centre. Exhale to the shoulder. Inhale. Moving with the breath, slowly and with control. Keeping our shoulders down and away from our ears. We're not starting to let them creep up. Thinking about creating length across the shoulders and through the neck. Remembering that piece of string pulling your head up so we're sitting nice and tall. And release. I'm just going to come into some shoulder rolls here. So bring your shoulders up, back and down. Creating lots of nice space. You can keep your hands down by your sides and almost imagine painting circles across your legs with your hands. Just moving and creating lots of movement around your shoulder blades, opening up across the chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together. You can start to increase this movement if you'd like. You can by placing your hands up onto your shoulders, and you're going to just do some circles with your elbows. Again, really thinking about creating length across the chest here. Try to make those circles just a little bit bigger every time. And again, we're thinking about our ribcage here. We're not starting to lift, which I was starting to do there. All those cues are there for a reason. It's not your body's natural way is to try and find the easiest way of doing things. And that includes Pilates instructors too. And down by your sides. We're going to lift one arm up overhead and gently walk those fingers out to the side and stretch over to that side. Really think about keeping this hip that you're stretching down and anchored onto your heel, or if you're sitting cross-legged, the same again, you're not lifting up and out. Think about keeping this side anchored down and leaning over. And release. And we'll go the same on the other side. Breathe out as we stretch and walk your hands. Imagine your body sandwiched between two walls here, so we're not letting our front slip down, we're keeping nice and tall moving in this nice plane of motion. And to the other side. And one more. Breathing out as you move. And breathe into the centre. I'm going to place our hands in the prayer position in front of us and think about keeping your shoulders down and away from your ears again. Press your hands slightly together just to create a little bit of tension. And as you breathe out, you're going to just turn to look over to the opposite side. Keep your hips facing forward so we're not turning or lifting our hips again. Breathe into centre. Exhale to turn. If you're pressing your hands into each other, you'll start to feel a little bit of a stretch across between your shoulder blades. Moving slowly and with control. Lifting up out of your lower back, not allowing yourself to slouch. And back to centre. We're going to bring our arms out in front and imagine you're hugging a giant tree or ball. So we're going to come forward like this. And when you're doing this, you can allow a big curve in your back. So I'll just turn to the side to show you. So as I'm curving here, I'm really thinking about creating as much of a bend as possible across this whole bit of my back, really lengthening through my spine, pulling my shoulder blades apart, dipping my head down. And then I'm going to open up, arms out to the side and squeeze those shoulder blades back, really pulling through the chest. So we're doing the exact opposite here, creating a nice curve in your back and lifting up. You can lift your head slightly as well. And then curl the opposite way. And lengthen out. You start to feel those shoulders loosening and lengthening, a bit less tension. And then we'll bring our hands back down by our sides. Now we're going to come into 4-point kneelings. We're going to have our hands directly under our shoulders and our knees directly under our hips. And we'll go into some cat-cows. So we're going to tuck our pelvis under, rounding the back, lifting up, pushing through your hands. Pull your shoulder blades apart and really feel that stretch across the back of the neck and between the shoulder blades up here. Breathe in and out. And then we'll go the opposite way. Tuck your tailbone up towards the ceiling. So you're dipping your back, lowering your belly towards the floor, lifting your head up, squeezing your shoulder blades together. And we're just going to gently move between the two, curling your back and arching your back. Really think about trying to make this motion as smooth and as controlled as possible so it feels like a flow. You might find some areas feel a bit stickier or tighter than the other. That's perfectly normal. It's just your body telling you which muscles are a wee bit tight. And release. Walk your knees slightly further forward. And we're just going to come down into a child's pose, which is obviously a yoga position, but it still works in Pilates. It's all good. You're allowed a little bit of mix and match. And we're just going to walk our hands forward. You can open your knees slightly here so it can be a bit more comfortable in your hips if your knees are just slightly wider, rather than like squeezing them in together. Just separating them slightly. And we're just going to walk our hands forward, sinking down into the mat. We're going to lift up onto our fingertips and just gently walk your fingers over to one side of your mat to really create this nice stretch across your side. And breathe deeply. Think about pulling your shoulder away from that bottom hip. And come back up onto your fingertips and walk them over to the other side. Really just melt down and feel this big stretch. Think about pulling that hip down onto your heel, not letting it lift up. Pulling your shoulder away from that stretched hip. And release. And now we're just going to come down onto our sides and we're just some side lying open door. This is one of my absolute favourite exercises because it's so good for the chest and the back. So we're just going to come down onto the floor and we're going to have both our arms out extended here. Hopefully I'm not hitting my microphone here, so apologies if that does. We're just going to place our head down, knees coming up towards our chest, so we're kind of creating like a 90-degree angle between our knee and our hip. We're going to breathe in. As you exhale, we're going to float that top arm up towards the ceiling, following with our head. And you're just going to open out to the side as far as your arm lets you. Breathe in. Exhale, let that arm fall just a little bit further. Breathe in to return, moving slowly and with control. Breathe in to prepare. Exhale, lift that top arm, following your thumb with your gaze, and just letting that arm melt down as far as comfortable. Breathe in, exhale, and let your arm fall. Really feel that stretch across the front of the chest, across your back muscles. You'll even feel a little bit of a twist as well across the side muscles here, which is why it's my favourite exercise, because it just seems to hit everything in the upper back. It's the best exercise ever for open shoulders, and we're just going to stay here for a little bit. With every breath, as you breathe out, just see if you can let that shoulder drop a little bit closer to the floor. And breathe in to return, slowly circling back down to the start position. We're going to do the same on the other side, so if you just want to roll over onto the other side, I'll flip myself so that you can see me better while I'm exercising here. So we're coming down onto our mats, we're bringing our knees up in line with our hips and our arms are extended out across the front. Breathing in, and as you exhale, float that top arm up towards the ceiling, following with your head and just opening out towards the side. Breathe in, exhale, let that arm fall just a little bit further. Breathe in to return. You might find one side's a little bit tighter than the other, and that's perfectly normal. Our bodies aren't fully symmetrical. If you're working on your right shoulder like I am, this is the arm that uses the mouse for me on my computer, so it does tend to be a little bit tighter. Breathing deeply. Really feel that stretch across the front of your shoulders, which would be your chest. Squeeze your shoulder blade down towards the floor. You might find your arm is only up here, but again, that's perfectly fine. It's just where you feel comfortable and where your body allows you to go. With every breath, just seeing if you can let that shoulder drop just a little bit closer to the floor. And breathe in to release, coming back down to have your hands on the mat. From here, we're going to roll onto our backs with our feet flat on the floor, knees bent. We're going to float our arms up towards the ceiling and just open out, bringing the back of your hands towards the mat. If you're quite tight on the chest muscles, you'll really feel this. Breathe in to return up towards the ceiling. Exhale, let your arms come down, moving slowly. So we're not letting them just fall, we're controlling it. And again, you should really start to feel a nice stretch across the front of the chest. Breathing in. On this next one, we're going to turn these into circles. So rather than going out to the side, we're going to bring our hands up overhead towards the wall behind you. And then once they go as far as what is comfortable for you, we're going to start to open out towards the side, so creating big circles with your arms. This is actually a little bit of a challenge for the muscles, the posture muscles. Bringing them back up to the ceiling, up, overhead, and open out to the side. But it just starts to really work the shoulders through the full range of motion that they're meant to do. It is a ball and socket joint, so allowing a nice bit of circling really lets it work slowly in control. We'll make this one our final one, going up, overhead, out to the side. And we'll just leave our hands down by our sides this time. We're just going to take our hands and place them on the back of our thighs and bring our legs in towards our chest. Think about massaging out through the lower back. You can rock from side to side. And you can just do some little ankle circles one way and some ankle circles the other. And we'll just release our legs back down to the floor. We're just going to come back up into sitting. So bring your hands down to the floor and just push yourself up, whichever way is comfortable. We're just going to come into a little stretch for the inside of the legs here. So we're going to bring our feet so our soles are together and our knees are out to the sides. And this is just a nice little stretch for the inside of the legs here. So you can bring your feet as far away from your body or as close as you would like. But we're not looking for a really deep stretch here. We're not like really forcing this, trying to get the splits. This is just a relaxation pose where you're able to hold. Imagine I was to ask you to hold this pose all day long. So you want to find that position where you're not fighting, your body's not clutching or tensing. We're just going to breathe deeply. Think about sitting a little bit taller. Imagine that piece of string pulling your head up. We're lengthening out of the lower back, lifting our shoulders down away from our ears. And you can just rock your head from side to side, ear to opposite shoulder like we did at the beginning. Just opening up around the neck and mobilizing. And release. We're going to bring our hands to the outside of our knees and just use them to support our legs to push them back up together. And we're just going to come back into a kneeling position, or you can sit with your legs crossed if that's not comfortable on your knees. And we're just going to do a few shoulder rolls up, back and down. I'm going to do a very anti-Pilates thing here, and I'm going to let you let this go. We're not having to hold the core here. We're just thinking about movement. Let your ribs go. Just let them move. And bring your arms up overhead and back, just creating some big arm circles. This just gets you energized again, having had a nice little relaxation, so you can go about your day. And bring them back down to the side, palms facing forward. And we'll just do a little tilt, shoulder down to your ear, and the opposite way. We just work from side to side here. And you should hopefully notice that you've got a lot more length across the front of your chest. You don't feel quite as tight, and your shoulders feel a little bit better, and your head is able to move a little bit smoother. I really hope you enjoyed today's session. Please subscribe if you haven't already, because as you can tell, this is a new channel which I've just started, so any support you can give is hugely appreciated. And drop me a comment as well if you have any thoughts, because I will read them all, and it would be greatly appreciated. The plan is to do more videos like this where it's really opening up the chest and the shoulders and getting everything moving if you've been sitting at a desk all day, because let's face it, we all sit at a desk all day. So thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.